wall color or grants received. And while we're all clicking on that, we'll check on a couple other questions that we've got here. Let's see. I sat down with my congressman to support a millage. He said he loved libraries but wouldn't support it openly because it wasn't politically prudent. How do we put aside partisan issues? I think there's a couple of points here. First of all, a U.S. congressman is probably not going to get involved in a very local issue. And a millage is, and correct me if I'm wrong, usually a very local vote that needs to happen. So usually a U.S. congressman is not going to get involved with that, often because they don't want to step on the toes of the local officials. So sometimes it's best to really get them to focus on what they can do at their specific level. In terms of how you get them to put aside some of that partisanship, usually what I'd say is, well, if you can't support us on this particular difficult issue, can you do something easier? Try to get them to an easier yes, such as, would you come and visit the library? Would you make a statement about how much you support the library? And so maybe they're not going to be willing to say, yes, I'll support the millage, but maybe they would be willing to say, I think our library does great work. And then in that way, you're just starting to get them engaged and saying positive things about the library, which may in the future translate them to actually engaging in some support. Now, looking at that, you might say, well, what's the good of having him or her make a statement about how much you love the library? It's all about building that long-term relationship that will eventually get them to a point where they may actually translate that general display of support into a policy display of support. And it's certainly better than having them say mean things about the library.